What's the deal? Yeah, what's the deal? What's the deal? How you feel? What's the deal? Where you at?
So y'all here? Y'all like inspiration? Y'all like motivation?
Denise Camille?
Y'all like ventilation?
Denise Camille?
Y'all know I gotta make up a few words here and there, but who y'all here with?
Ventilation and Denise Camille.
Under the act, but we not playing no games.
We're not into games. We don't like Sega, PlayStation, or Xbox.
So y'all here with Dilate the Dialogue with Denise Camille.
Dilate the dialogue.
We gotta open up, not them legs, but the minds.
Denise Camille.
Cause I know y'all trying to find y'all strength.
Denise Camille.
Intertwined with the life of me.
Denise Camille.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. I am the one and only Denise Camille. Y'all here with another episode of Dilate to Dialogue. How y'all breathing? How y'all feeling? How y'all receiving? How y'all achieving? It's another episode. We are here. I'm grateful for y'all for listening out. Please, I enjoy the comments. I enjoy the connection. Right? Let's have a dialogue. Not a Decepticon, I like to call it. Let's have a dialogue, not a rah. That's not what we here for. Dilate to dialogue. We here to open up what? Not them legs, but them minds. So we can find the concepts of life, right? So, hopefully all is well. It's another episode. I'm here. I got my electronics. I am at the getting the definitions ready, right? First of all, it's another day. Let's be grateful for the ancestors, right? I know I am. I'm grateful for my spirit team for always allowing me to keep going when I thought I didn't have the time or the effort or the place or the rhyme to keep going. If now ain't a better time, I don't know what is, right? I'm grateful for that. I'm honored to be the vessel of truth, right? I continue to ask to seek my divine truth. Use me for what I need to be used for as a vessel of truth. That's it. I'm here for the truth. Anything outside of that, that's opinion, right? Like I tell people, don't choose not to arrest my facts with your opinion. Nah, it don't work that way, right? I am Denise Camille. I am the Urban Love Therapist. I am the Relationship with Self Coach. Let's get it in today, y'all. It's another episode. I'm looking for a topic that I just go through, from my old quotes, which is check out that book that's about to come out. That journal. When I say that, just give me time. You know how Spirit will tell you something now, and it'll be like 5 years later. I'm like, oh, I mean, that was a good preparation, yet. Okay. I'm not saying it's going to take 5 years. Just bear with me, right? I'm doing better these days, right? I'm a human being, and I love it. So, I know sometimes I wear the shirt that says, acknowledge the child in you. And that was actually one of my quotes that I had done many moons ago, right? Acknowledging the child in you. The good thing about it is that everyone can relate to this, right? Everyone can relate to having the inner child in you and acknowledging it. What does that mean? What does that look like? I know it's pretty self-explanatory, yet to some people, it may not be. So let's define the word acknowledge. First of all, let's be on the same page, right? Acknowledge means to accept or admit the existence or truth of, or recognize the fact or importance of or quality of. So acknowledge, accept, or admit the existence or truth of something, or recognize the fact or importance or quality of something. So, I mean, even if we could define the word child, because I know as a couples counselor and an individual with anxiety counselor and children 10 and up counselor, and we all have inner children, well, one inner child within us, right? Yet, I can blatantly tell you that there are many adults who are man children and women children. You got a lot of girls and boys walking around that probably in their latter years, their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. They have not even addressed their hurt or their growth or their progress, right? So the inner child a child is a young human being below the age of puberty or below the legal age of majority. So a young human below the age of puberty, which would be, I want to say 11 and under, or puberty. No, puberty can even, let's define puberty, because I can even think back, so puberty could be, let's define puberty. Let's go there, because I usually, we're going to a different level. Puberty is a period of physical and hormonal changes that mark a child's transition to adulthood and sexual maturity. It's a time of dramatic change for both boys and girls, and typically begins between the ages of 8 and 13 for females and 9 and 14 for males. However, puberty can begin abnormally early or abnormally late. The definition of puberty is the period during which adolescents reach sexual maturity and become capable of reproduction. So what I really wanted to gather was the age, right? Because I know that a lot of human beings, we tend to, if we haven't addressed the inner child, we're usually 8 and under. And I'm grateful that it said that 8 and under, right? Let's go with 8 or 9. Was it going to change, 2nd or 3rd grade? I think it's the same thing. Yet acknowledging the child in you, yourself less than 8 years old. What did that look like for you? And again, let me bring up my book, because that crossed my mind. My most recent book, Urban Life with Love, The 5 Languages We Speak. And I wanted to bring up the book because it goes back. This book is like therapy in a book, where after every chapter you have your self-assessment questionnaires, right? Yet I wanted to bring it up because the child in you, this book assesses when you were a child, what was your love language? What was that native language that you spoke? That native language of love. And like I talk about again, Gary Chapman's book is The 5 Languages of Love that he wrote. Great book, great concept. Yet as a counselor from the professional side and as a person, I realized those 5 are what society states we should be giving other people. Right? That's what it says, right? What's your love language? Okay, right. Flip it. Those should be the 5 you should be giving to yourself, right? As an adult. You want to give yourself words of affirmation. You want to give yourself time. You want to give yourself gifts. You want to give yourself these things, right? Yet, those were not the languages we learned to speak as children 8 and under. In the urban community, whether it be Afro-urban, Caribbean, anything outside of the suburban mindset, those majority of the urban community, we learned a lot of our 5 from other ways that weren't always the healthiest, yet not everything we've learned was healthy for up till now. We're surviving emotionally sometimes at a place because we have not addressed the root. How could you bear the right fruit if you haven't addressed the root? How does a sociopath become a sociopath? How does a psychopath become a psychopath? Right? It doesn't just come out of nowhere. It has to stem from somewhere in that inner child. So when we acknowledge that inner child, we have to make sure that we're at a place of making things right. Checking in on ourselves and saying, well, what I grew up with, that experience was either great, or was it superficial, or was it in a place that can hurt? You know, you want to make sure that you're in a place that you're not functioning from a place of hurt, functioning from a place of lack. Main one is functioning from a place of fear. You know, a lot of us have been functioning from a place of fear and lack, thinking that that's all I know, so that's all there is. Everybody else is doing so many different things. We see things. We're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the year of exposure, right? Where fear should not be an option. What happens in the dark is going to come out in the light, right? So acknowledging that inner child is putting your mindset in a place of, what is it that I used to do, that I enjoyed doing as a child, that made life so much simpler for me? That I was able to find the calmness amongst the chaos, right? Because as children, and I could attest to it, having to know that I worried a lot as a child. Like, I worried. Like, I'm like, man, are we gonna pay the rent? Is the mortgage gonna pay? There wasn't nothing I could do about it, yet I took on the stress of my parents. That's just what I did. Yet I wasn't ever guided to really be like, listen, that's not your place. Enjoy life. Just create memories, and that's that. Because as a child, you really want to be able to have a strong foundation of happiness and joy and peace. Because, once adulthood kicks in, here comes responsibilities. Here comes having balance. Here comes doing all these things, and adaptability and flexibility and reliability and dependability and all these abilities. You're able to do it all, yes. Yet, as children, it's like, just enjoy it. You don't get these years back. Because again, like I said, the latter ones, I've seen the 50-year-olds acting like 30s, the 40-year-olds acting like 20s. Goes so forth and so on. They get to relive their adulthood life. As children, we don't. So once it's gone, why do you think there's so many adult big kids nowadays? Because they want it back. They want joy. They want peace. They want happiness. They want no responsibility. I just want to be me. I just want to have fun. Right? So as human beings, as adults, I'm always encouraging you to acknowledge that child in you. What did you enjoy doing as a child, 8 and under? And I can attest to so many adults who have said 8 and under, they had to be adults. That's the environment that they were in. They had to be adults. They could have been the oldest at 8. Having to help around the house, being what we used to call it. My older sister, she's 6 years older, so I'm the last of 5. My twin sister, I used to call her management. Because she was like management, because she was in charge. When my parents weren't there, they put her in charge, and she was like, rah, 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 rah. So we were like, ew, number one. The second half, it was like, I thought you were one of us, but you acting like you one of them, so we don't, it ain't the same kind of respect. Because as a child, you want to be able to just enjoy. Have you enjoyed your childhood self yet? Being able to acknowledge you for you, it's a great place to be when you're happy. Addressing those places in your mind that a long time you didn't want to go. You just kept suppressing it. I think men do it way worse than women do. Suppress their emotions, right? Suppress their feelings, I should say. Suppress their traumas. I mean, women spiral just as bad. I would say men probably spiral way worse by doing negative into more negative, where a woman can take a negative and make it positive. We can learn from each other on how to transmute energy, right? When we get something negative that comes in our life, if it means to just sit with yourself quietly for however long, talk to yourself. You got a lot of thoughts. And sometimes those thoughts that aren't yours, but my daughter calls them the intrusive thoughts, those are thoughts that aren't yours. I could clearly attest to when my book comes out, that'd be my story of me. There was some, some witchcraft done on me, and they were trying to do so many things, so many, death spells and beauty spells and suicide spells, and clearly none of that worked because I'm still here, still beautiful, still running the world. Who run the world? Oh, curls run the world. Squirrels run the world too. Okay. Nevertheless, going back to that story of, one of the stories is that the suicide spells, that I would hear them say, why don't you just kill yourself? And I'm just like, me being me, I'm going to be like, why don't you kill yourself? And they'll be like, wait, what? What? Why don't you kill yourself? What you asking me for? Why don't you do it to you off yourself? Don't tell me to do it. This ain't my time to go. It ain't my time. I'm just that kind of person. It ain't for me. What's for me is for me. If spirit leads me to do it and I know their voices, who are you? I had to acknowledge my little Denise to make sure, hey, are you okay? Because I've been, surviving, attempting to strategize, yet forgetting who I was, forgetting what my calling was, forgetting what my purpose was, forgetting the entity that I embody. Remember your inner self. Remember that inner child. Remember that child in you the child that just wants a hug. I remember one time, eons ago, I was doing yoga for probably one of the first, I'd done yoga before with Nana Teacher the Elder, as she rests in power. I had done yoga with another sister, and we outside because I like doing everything outside, and I could hear little Denise, my inner child, saying, I think she said either hug me or she called out my name, and she's holding her hands out like she wants a hug, and she's looking up because she's in my heart. It was a crazy dynamic to feel and to see and to be a part of. All I could do was shed tears, and that time I wasn't sweating through my eyes, right? Yet it took me to a place where it's like, I have to acknowledge her. She's still waiting on me. She's wanting me to be happy with me. You know, there was so much that had happened in my life. I know everyone's life is unique. Everyone is going through their different obstacles and options and of hurdles, and that's life, right? That's the beauty of the experience. Yet it's having to acknowledge that inner you, because they need you more than anybody else in this world does. They need you. They need you. And even when we have children, I know I'm sure y'all have heard my story before about having my first. I was very much, very, very, very naive on many levels and gullible. And I remember when I had to push him out, and I'm just like, I don't know where he's coming from. You want me to just, so I was like literally pretending to push, right? And I was like, And the nurses in the hospital at the time were like, man, if you don't push, we're going to have to cut you. And I was like, oh, that was the magic words. Who do I push to? Where am I pushing from? Oh, okay. And of course he came out after that. Yet in my mind, I'm like, wait, I know he went in, but how's he getting out? So it was one of those places of me where it's like I had to go into just a different zone and just get it done, right? Even when I had to acknowledge her, I had to always be there, because there were certain points in my life where I see her and she's like, she's waiting. She was waiting. Like, okay, it's almost like a double dutch. Like, are you coming? No? Oh, okay. Patience. You know, our inner child has patience with us because they're waiting. Yet at some point, it's going to bubble over where it's like, okay, you done suppressed this pressure pot for too long. It's about to bust a cap, right? The pot cover's about to come off. And it's the child is like, talk to me, speak to me. I need you. I need you. I need you. I need you. You know, getting to that place of growth where you're taking the time to do the work, do the shadow work, to look at yourself, assess your past. Because again, everything is in pattern or cyclical form, you know? So what does the past look like? Where does the pattern come from? Why are things moving the way they're moving? How is it that I'm only addressing a certain piece of my life? How big is fear in my thought process? What is driving me? I know I can manifest. I have the power to speak. You know, it's one of those where it's like, okay, and here's little Denise. What does she enjoy doing? Ask yourself, insert your name. What do you enjoy doing? Acknowledge your child. Acknowledge you. Half of us are still being kids. I mean, I've always had a childlike behavior, and it's nothing that I'm like, oh no, I gotta acknowledge her. That was different. I just know that life is too innocent to take it seriously. It's a ride. Enjoy it. Why try to cheat it? Why try to do somebody else wrong to it? You don't want it done to you. It's just simple things of life and living that you don't really need to question. Appreciate you. Be grateful for the little things. If you don't got the expensive car, you got a car. To me, a car goes from A to B, B to C, C to D. I'm grateful. I'm grateful to get from one place to another, to be able to have the mindset to not be in my head about thinking, man, I don't have it. The child in me is too afraid. We're just not going to go there. No, let's go there. Let's see how far we can go. And let's do it for our own personal gain. Not for nobody else's clout, not for nobody else's validation, not for nobody else to give you the check plus. Give yourself the check plus. Give your little child self the check plus. You know, be that teacher and that leader for yourself. Acknowledge her or him. Acknowledge them. Why is it that you're living a life as an adult the way you are? Is it because you didn't acknowledge who you needed to acknowledge was yourself? Why not? Why can't you get there? Why won't you get there? How are you going to get there? All right, y'all. It's been real. Y'all have been with another episode of Dialate to Dialogue with the one and only Denise Camille. This has been beautiful. Acknowledge the child in you, y'all. All right. I give thanks. Take care. Hey.